Good evening and welcome to this September 14th City Council meeting. Thank you for joining us in this remote meeting format we're using in response to Governor Brown's Stay Home, Save Lives order. This format enables City Council to meet, hear from the community, and take care of business while keeping its members, staff, and the public safe. For our first couple of items tonight, there will be a public forum followed by one action item. There are several housekeeping announcements and instructions related to the meeting format that I need to take care of. So thank you for your patience while we work through those. First, anyone wishing to access the meeting can do so by watching the live stream available on our website, the broadcast on Comcast Channel 21, or by following the access instructions listed for this meeting on the public webcast and meeting materials webpage. For those who join the meeting via computer, device, or phone, your microphone, webcam, and phone are automatically muted when you enter the meeting as an attendee. If you wish to participate during the public forum portion of the meeting and haven't already done so, please raise your virtual hand now to join the speaker's queue in one of two ways. For those viewing the meeting on a computer, laptop, or other device, click once on the blue hand icon. For those listening to the meeting on a phone, press *9. We will continue accepting raised hands until 7:35 p.m. The meeting moderator will unraise or disallow any requests to speak that are made after the deadline. When the public forum begins, our meeting moderator will announce 2 speakers at a time. When it is your turn, the moderator will announce your name and unmute your microphone. You will have 2 minutes to speak. And finally, I want to thank everyone for your patience, flexibility, and good humor as we work with this virtual meeting format. As always, feel free to contact any one of us individually or together via email or voicemail. And if there is testimony you were not able to write or wish to get to us in a different manner. And with that, we are ready to begin. And our first item is items, committee reports and items of interest. I know that Councilor Semple wishes to speak, and I don't know if anyone, I see Councilor Taylor. Okay. Anybody else? Councilor Syret. All right, why don't you kick it off, Councilor Semple?
Councilor, please.
Okay, can you hear me now? Hello, it's good to be back. We have a lot of work ahead on both our continuing projects and new challenges for reform and change. Please, if you drink, do not drive. On Saturday night, 3.5 weeks ago, I was in a serious car wreck. We were going south on Jefferson off of the I-105 ramp. And my next memory after seeing the 7-Eleven store is being in a large room with many machines and busy people, a lot of pain and confusion, and a very hard time breathing. I was scared and I didn't know what had happened. I learned later that a drunk driver had blown through the 8th Avenue stop sign and T-boned us. Both cars were totaled, and all 4 people went to the hospital. I had surgery, and after 4.5 days in the hospital, I finally got home. I was badly hurt, and I'm still healing from the injuries. I must be very careful in my activities as my energy is limited. I need to rest a lot and avoid stimulation, hence my noise-canceling headphones. I will be slow in responding to emails, but please know I will read them as I can, and I'm here tonight to listen. There may be times ahead when I need to attend by audio only, leave early, or miss a meeting. That's not what I want, but what I may have to do for my recovery. I appreciate and am grateful for your understanding and support. And please, if you drink, do not drive. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Semple. We're glad you're in the state of recovery. And now Councillor Taylor.
Thank you. Yes, I hope Councillor Semple recovers quickly. That's a terrible, terrible story.
Counselor Taylor, we're having a hard time hearing you.
Oh,
Bring your headphone down.
thank you. There, is it okay now?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not very good at this stuff. Okay, I wanted to say something about people who are going to be homeless. I know we spend a lot of time talking about people who are homeless, the problems they are having and the problems other people are having because of their being in the way, or being where people think they shouldn't be. But I think that there are a lot more people in danger of being homeless. I've heard from people who can't pay their mortgage. And one little thing, a lot of people in our city, even before everything that's happening now, were living on the very edge. If one little thing can put them over the edge. And there's one case I just heard of a person who was double charged by Xfinity, Comcast, who was having it taken out of her bank account. They took a double amount, and that was too. And then, because she was living on the edge, she was just barely able to pay other bills. The bank then charged her for overdrafts for all the other bills, which makes it impossible then. It goes up so fast. If you are poor to start with, any little thing can put you in a really bad situation. So then this person was not able to pay her rent. And this is that the bank will not give back the money they took. Comcast will eventually, I think. And that we haven't done anything about, and then EWAB is now going to start disconnecting people who haven't paid their bills. Another way that people become homeless. And we've never done anything about predatory towing. There are so many things that people who are comfortable financially would never think about. Like, I remember a person who said if he had to pay a $500 fine, he'd just pay it. And that's impossible for some people to do that and then still exist. And I hope that with that we can pay some attention to, I don't know if we have any power to influence the banks or not, but the big charge for overdraft is really devastating to some people. And I do think we have some power over Comcast maybe. And then there are a lot of other things I could mention, but I know that some people can barely pay their mortgages or can't, and can barely pay their rent or can't. So we're going to have a bigger problem than we have now. As for by El Rapa Lane Regional Air Protection Agency, we're still in the process of hiring a new director. And we just appointed Lisa Arkin to the budget committee, which is a good thing. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. And Councillor Sayright.
Thank you, Mayor. Just since Councillor Taylor mentioned El Rapa, the Lane Regional Air Protection Authority, that's our local equivalent of DEQ, and they have an excellent updated every hour air monitoring site. If you go to lrapa.org and then click on today's air quality, you can stay up to the hour on what the particulate matter conditions are in Eugene, Cottage Grove, and Oak Ridge. So I've been monitoring that a lot this week. But what I raised my hand to speak to is just letting folks know, you know, I'm gonna go and do a shift volunteering at the donation distribution site at Four Corners tomorrow afternoon. And I found that information to sign up for that through the Lane County website and their specific page for the McKenzie Fire. And if you scroll down there, there's there's a volunteer tab that then links you to where you can sign up for shifts if you're able to do that kind of volunteer work. I'll let you know how it goes, maybe on Wednesday. And then in our consent calendar, we've got an appointment that the mayor is making to the police commission. And I just wanted to call it out because the gentleman, Ian Winbrook, happens to be in my ward. And I've had a couple of occasions to speak with him. And I think he will be an excellent addition to the police commission. So I appreciate the mayor considering his application and choosing to appoint him to the unexpired term on that commission. So those were the things I wanted to say, but also to Betty's concern about folks losing their housing. I was looking through our minutes and we passed a motion back in July in terms of our Affordable Housing Trust Fund to dedicate $500,000 towards folks who were having trouble paying rent and mortgages. And I also heard a story on the news today. I believe it was that the CDC has issued an eviction moratorium for renters if they can legally testify that they would become homeless or have to move in with others during the pandemic. And that goes to the end of the year, in addition to the state of Oregon's moratoriums, which I believe are still in effect. So that's all, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other counselors with comments, questions? I want to comment on a couple of things. First of all, yes, on the consent calendar, I have recommended that council approve Ian Winbrook as to fill in a now vacant seat on the police commission. He comes with a terrific experience from the Whitaker neighborhood, really understands the community, understands the issues, and is very eager to commit the time and the energy to be a productive police commission member. So I think he will be an asset, and I hope you'll agree with that. Secondly, it has been an extraordinary and difficult and harrowing week for all of us, and we're not done. We're not finished with the fire season. And I think to follow up on comments both by Councillor Taylor and Councillor Syret, that we have the newly homeless as a result of the wildfire. We have the potential for more homeless as a result of COVID and the economic crisis, and we have our ongoing homelessness crisis. So it's a trifecta that is badly overstretching our capacity and is going to take a huge amount of community investment. This week has been very hard. We have recognized that we have people living unsheltered under conditions of very poor air quality. And the city has reached out to all of our partners. We have worked very closely. We have worked very hard to find ways in which we can help protect people's health in these circumstances. We distributed masks, we opened some day shelters, and finally on Sunday we opened a small but still a healthy space for 15 people to spend the night. None of it is enough. We recognize that none of it is enough, and we recognize that for all our investment, and council will be hearing about this again on October 14th, another update on our work in inclement weather strategies and implementation of the TAC report. We are moving forward. I think we have a more robust effort than ever before, but this crisis hit us before all those pieces were on the ground, and some of those pieces that we've relied on, rest stops, Conestogas, do not protect air quality. We're not a response for this crisis. And so I think what the learning curve for all of us, the wake up call for all of us, and I know we will hear testimony about it tonight, is we need a more robust plan. We need more robust investment. We definitely need a shelter space, emergency shelter space that can help people weather. This will not be our last wildfire crisis, and certainly not our last weather-related crisis. So I think many lessons learned, hard lessons learned in this last week about the gaps in our system, But I think, so I'm looking forward to hearing the testimony tonight. I'm looking forward to engaging in the community about how we begin to address those, profound gaps, and council will have a chance to weigh in on that in just a month. So thank you all. Thank you to folks who have taken the time to testify tonight and they're coming. And so I will begin by introducing the public forum. The public forum is an opportunity for individuals to speak to the City Council on any city-related issues except for those items which have already been heard by a hearings official or are on tonight's agenda as a public hearing. Each person will have 2 minutes to speak. When it is your turn and your microphone has been unmuted, please state your name clearly and, for Eugene residents, your ward if known before beginning your comments. If you are watching the meeting, the timer should be visible. A yellow light will come on when you have 15 seconds to complete your comments. The red light and beep indicate the end of the 2 minutes. When your time has concluded, the moderator will mute your microphone and move on to the next speaker. For those who have connected to the meeting via phone and don't have the benefit of seeing the timer, please be aware that your microphone will be muted at the 2-minute mark. And with that, I believe we are ready. Jessica, can you tell us how many speakers we have?
This time we have 10. We did have 11, so we'll be watching to see if that person reconnects.
Okay, that's
And
excellent.
Mayor, just a reminder that we typically do consent before the public
Oh,
forum.
I'm sorry. I totally just skipped right over it. I was so ready to go to the public forum. Okay,
I just took it as consent.
thank you. It was just me skipping down the page after all of that. So yes, could we have a motion for the consent calendar?
Yeah, I move to approve the items on the consent calendar 1.
Do you have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please raise either your virtual hand or your real hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thank you very much. And thank you, manager, for reminding me that I was skipping over the agenda item. All right. Now, Jessica, we are ready for the first speakers of the public forum.
Certainly, our first speaker will be Joshua, followed by Marianne Senhouse.
Hi, this is Joshua Korn, resident of South Eugene, and I have been noticing more and more 5G towers come up. I saw a new one on 23rd up on College Hill, and another one that has a very low transmitter, like a block or two away from that one, also on 23rd. And I can tell by the way that these are installed that they are not following the law. That one of those ones on 23rd is far too low to be safe. And I really want, I mean, I've been flying this torch on this 5G thing for so long, and I would really like to hear some feedback from you guys about 5G. This is a big concern. We have a lot of public health issues coming up from electromagnetic sensitivity, and really everyone is reaching a threshold of sensitivity where even people that I know that really haven't been sensitive in the past are communicating with me and asking me, like, what can I do about this stuff? I can't sleep at night. As more people have these problems with sleeping, think about 5G, because when we let the industry take control of our public rights of way and let them put these unnecessary residential towers up, there's nothing we can do in the future to protect our health. So thank you for your attention to this matter.
Our next speaker will be Marianne Senhouse, followed by Jen Smith.
Hello, this is Marianne Senhouse, Ward 8. I just wanted to express my disappointment in response to the current smoke pollution. There has been an effort in 2016 to prepare for Cascadia Rising. However, if 2020 is any indication, Eugene is thoroughly unprepared. Even though COVID blindsided us in the spring, for example, if disaster preparedness were a dance, this current smoky situation should have been performed from muscle memory, and instead it looks like we're floundering, trying to learn the choreography, even now. I understand that citizens have to take personal responsibility. However, the city has a lot of work to do. For example, is there an air quality index that the city considers as a cutoff to close city buildings and to put emergency plans into place? What about using schools that are currently closed as emergency shelter? There has not been a plan put into place for overnight respite. And I think that this shows how unprepared Eugene is to handle Cascadia Rising. I yield my time.
Our next speaker is Jen Smith, followed by Lynn Woodrich.
Well, first I wanted to extend my sympathies to Councilor Semple for your accident. I'm sorry that you were injured. And I also wanted to thank Councilor Taylor for her very kind words about our unhoused. This is also something that's very near and dear to my heart. This week, after the fire started, we had park sweeps. Why is this happening? Right now, I understand we've opened the convention center for overnight stays for 15 people. Where are the unhoused supposed to go to get out of this deadly air? We have an 800 plus air quality index, as I understand. We really need to be doing better as a city to take care of the most vulnerable, which are heavily BIPOC, mentally ill, trans people, people who need our help and protection right now, and we're failing them. We've got many local groups out on the streets. We need a more coordinated effort from the city. I'm gonna leave that topic. I think it's been beaten. Next question I have is, when are we going to hear about some transparency and policy around excessive use of force, the ensuing lawsuits? Why do we still have policies that allow for tear gassing and pepper spraying of our streets and use of so-called non-lethal munitions in the hands of people who frankly aren't trained to operate them? Thank you. I yield the remainder of my time.
Our next speaker is Lynn Woodrich, followed by Katrina.
Hi, my name is Lynn Woodrich. I live in Ward 6 with my 91-year-old dad and own a home in the Bethel portion of Ward 8. I'm also the co-chair of Active Bethel Citizens. First, I would like to thank Councilor Evans for attending all 3 of our ABC Building an Inclusive and Welcoming Community Zoom meetings. His contribution made a huge difference in the enlightenment of the Bethel residents. All meetings were recorded and are available on our ABC Facebook page. Thanks also to Councilor Syret for helping with the Gilbert Street Park problems. It is much appreciated. Next, our ABC Civic Engagement team will be meeting on October 7th with Claire Haley about her U of O Live Move by Design project for improving transportation in Bethel. We're also inviting Rob Innerfeld with the city's bike and pedestrian project. We ask that the city work with us as we form plans to make Bethel better. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Katrina, followed by Tyler Stewart.
Hi, this is Katrina Stewart. First of all, I wanted to also relay my sympathy to Councilor Simple, and I hope that you feel much better soon. I learned something today that I was wondering if the mayor and council members have considered in regards to Governor Brown's Executive Order 2025 in regards to COVID-19 recommendations for emergency shelter for the homeless. It's my understanding, based on what I heard and read today, that there are not restrictions, there are recommendations. And I'm wondering if there are there's some room for interpretation that could help in prioritizing finding some sufficient shelter for our unhoused neighbors. I'm deeply concerned, as I know all of you are, about their health at this time and heading into the cold months. I also wanted to second the idea of using the schools that aren't open, U of O dorms. Those all seem like some really good possibilities to really advocate for. And I also know that many of the already trained Egan volunteers would be very much wanting to help serve at this time. So please continue your efforts and really, really do make this a priority. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Tyler Stewart, followed by Matthew Yuk. Tyler, are you with us? Okay, we will move on to Matthew. Matthew, are you with us?
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, like, wow, apocalyptic times, y'all. And there are some things I was going to ask about and question real quick, just because of how things are looking for after this fire, after this accommodation for emergency refugees. After what accommodations have been put into place too late for unhoused folk, we've still got this economic catastrophe of COVID-19 to deal with. And so I was hoping to get a few more minutes to try to organize some thoughts real quick to tie into some of the things that folks have brought up and some of the things I heard about in the work session earlier. And so sorry, it's not quite there, but using those available spaces that are public to an extent. Folks have brought up the school spaces of universities, even our community college are public entities governed by public bodies, as are our community centers and other governmental spaces that right now are kind of shut down because a lot of it does not need people to be there in person. And so trying to utilize some of those vacant areas, or then even working with the Chamber of Commerce to identify vacant business spaces, or we could set up medically qualified areas of ventilation with the COVID-19 distancing that is still needed to create spaces in space not used to be used for something that our community desperately needs. Happy not first day of school, y'all. I guess like I don't know where things are, where we are, but I thank y'all for being there and hope that we can make things be there for others as immediately as possible, because even after the forest fire season ends, we've got winter. And so yeah, love y'all.
Next, we have Tyler Stewart, followed by Isaiah W.
Hi, thank you. Councilor Simple, I'm so sorry you were injured, but I'm glad you're okay right now. And Taylor, thank you for your words about our unhoused. we have to house our unhoused folks more expeditiously. I know stuff's in progress, but we got to do it now. We have many of the answers and solutions, and we need to find ways to cut through the bureaucracy and allocate and reallocate funding, including funding potentially from the CSI budget. And it was our understanding that we could do a supplementary budget anytime after July 1st. We need to do that now. I'm hearing rumors that we may not have Egan this year. We really need to get on that now. We'll have some of the volunteers, but some can't just because of COVID vulnerabilities. But we'll be there. We need to let our nonprofits sometimes take the lead and just give them whatever they need. We need to cut through the bureaucracy. We need to move expeditiously. Right now, the Lane County Fairgrounds should be prioritized for housing, and I know that's a county issue, but there's a silly empty consignment sale at the fairgrounds, and that is one of the reasons why our unhoused don't have a place to be right now. I've seen video of it. The second thing is, based on what I'm hearing from the state, is that the restrictions, the COVID restrictions, are being waived for emergency shelters. We can house more than 15. We can house a lot more than 15. We need to give our nonprofits what they need. There are buildings for sale right now. If we need to move expeditiously, we just got to do it. We got to do it. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Isaiah W., followed by Sarah.
Thank you so much. My name is Isaiah Wagner. Can everybody hear me? Green lights on? Okay, great. Thank you so much for the comments before. I'm going to kind of piggy off of what Tyler stated earlier about the unhoused and the homeless community, and also our mayor's statement about that you guys aren't, we know it's not enough. That statement in itself is, if you know it's not enough, then you need to be doing more. This isn't a county issue. This isn't any type of other type of blanketed issue that you want to make it about. It's a moral compass issue. And there's a lot of denying about the facilities that we have that we can allocate to our unhoused and homeless communities. I just went to the Lane Event Center. I saw multiple facilities vacated and empty. I went out to the church out in Crestwell that was housing 80 people. They were told to shut down because we had the facilities open here in Eugene, Oregon, which is not the truth or the case. You have failed us as a society and a community. You need to act now. If you want to know how it feels to be unhoused, I advise all of you to sleep into your cars tonight and see how long you would like to do that. If it's uncomfortable for you, if it's unmanageable for you, if it's inhumane for you, then the time is now to act. We don't need blanketed statements about COVID, because we know that we can have people with masks, using social distancing, and having the proper facilities. You need to urge every facility that we have right now and stop sitting on your behinds in your warm houses being protected by the circumstances that you live in, when we have unhoused Americans on the streets who have lost everything. Where's your compassion? Where is your sympathy? Where is your love? Right now, you're slapping Eugene in the face by all these other statements. Stick to the point. The time is now. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Sarah, followed by Aaron Grady.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. My name is Sarah Astra. I live in Ward 4. I'm here to remind you of your community's demands for police abolition, and to invite you to imagine how differently this year could have played out if we were a city whose police budget wasn't horribly bloated while our citizens suffered daily. Imagine if we were a community who didn't criminalize being unhoused at all, let alone in the middle of a respiratory pandemic with record-breaking air quality hazards. Imagine if we spent millions more on housing and healthcare and education, not on a glorified gang. What if we didn't have to worry about record unemployment and homelessness and financial disaster in our community because we prioritized each other, because we made it a point to prioritize those most in need so well in our regular circumstances that by the time this all came to be, we'd already become pros at showing up for our community members in need. Obviously, that didn't happen. So the best time to start is now. So when the next disaster happens, we'll be ready. You need to better understand and implement your community's understanding of public safety. So defund EPD, reallocate those funds, and do better by your community. I yield my time.
Our next speaker will be Erin Grady, followed by our final speaker, Haley Wilson.
Hi, my name's Erin. I'm a social worker. I live in Ward 1. I work at Whitebird. And yeah, I'm just here to definitely agree with the people that are saying that this response to the fire, which like fire season is not a surprise. It happens every year and we've had a couple good summers, but this is not our first horrible smoke event or first awful fire situation in Eugene. So it's not like this necessarily should have caught y'all unawares, and it will happen every year unless we're really lucky. Anyways, I just want to point out that it just like you all are kind of talking about this, like you got surprised and bamboozled by this situation and you realize that you haven't done enough, but it just doesn't really feel that way, especially when you go to the Lane County Fairgrounds shelter and realize that only 15 people are allowed there and it's such a huge building. Like a very simple thing you could do tonight right after this meeting is open it up to way more people. Cahoots could take people there. It would be fine. I'm sure that would take some coordination with the county. Anyways, another thing I wanted to say is that a lot of the grassroots groups in this town, like CORE and Black Thistle, Street Aid, and Stop Death in the Streets, and Burrito Brigade have come together to house like 38 people in hotels over the past 3 days. And those are groups that have no funding, no money, and have raised all of that money in the past literally 48 hours and have been out on the streets getting people food, getting people supplies. And that is literally way more than the city of Eugene has done. So I just like it, a lot more is possible. And y'all should be showing up a lot harder right now.
Our final speaker is Haley Wilson.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great, thank you. Hi, my name is Haley Wilson. Thank you so much. I'm a resident of Eugene, Oregon. I work at the University of Oregon. I provide services to all of our LGBTQIA folks on campus. And I'm here as a concerned citizen. I know that folks have talked about the particulate level and the AQI levels as being really hazardous with this wildfire season. And I've had to stay inside all the time to be able to seek respite. And it is really concerning that there has not been that type of service for unhoused folks. I don't know how people are able to live out in this smoke without having access to resources. So I'm really echoing all the things that people had said before, but just know that it's just not acceptable. We need more than 15 spaces for unhoused people in our community, and we have facilities to do so. I work in a very bureaucratic system as well, so I know things can get really caught up in the communication and really trying to make things work. But ultimately, these crises will continue to happen, and folks in power need to be prepared for that to help our most vulnerable. We need 24-hour respite for folks from this toxic smoke and for future crises for our unhoused community. Our housing crisis will continue to worsen due to COVID. We have over 9,000 unhoused people in Eugene. Sweeps are still happening. I don't know why I keep seeing sweeps of unhoused people in camps. That is just not acceptable to me. Those are my neighbors, and I just don't think that's a very thing to show. Doesn't show them a lot of care. I'm really disappointed by your response in that, and not stopping the sweeps and not providing 24-hour respite for our citizens. So I hope that after this meeting that you do some provide some real resources, increase the space. 15 spaces is not enough for 24-hour respite for our citizens. And you know, like I'm out of time. Thank you.
Okay, Jessica, I'm understanding that was our final speaker.
That's correct, Mayor.
Thank you so very much. And thank you to everyone who spoke. I see that Councilor Zelenka wants to speak. And then Councilor Ye. So I'll let you kick it off.
Yeah, thank you for all the comments. I hear what you're saying, totally sympathize with them. Most of the facilities that you guys have been talking to us about tonight are not controlled or owned by the city of Eugene. They are actually controlled by Lane County and 4J School District and the University of Oregon, and we can't tell them what to do. And I hope you will also be taking the time to go to those institutions and rounding up people to make sure that they hear this message too, because they're the people that can actually free up the space at Lane Event Center instead of having a clothing sale. And also 4J with gymnasiums and U of O with all their big facilities. We still have to take into consideration COVID. A lot of the people that are homeless are high at risk people, and we can't just throw everybody into a room because of the bad air quality. That probably ends up being a worse decision than not doing anything in my book. Again, those people that control those entities that control those things, they need to hear from you too. We can't make them do this, but we can work with them as partners, and we're committed to do that. So I hope you'll share your comments with them as well.
Councilor Ye.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you, Alan. I also wanted to just reach out and say people like Aaron who work with or our nonprofits. Apparently we had an update earlier today, and I'm sorry it was at the other meeting and folks didn't get to hear it, but we aren't even filling those. We didn't even fill those 15 spaces at the Lane Event Center. If you have insight on how we can do better, how we can reach this population of folks to get them into those spaces or into other spaces that we may be able to create throughout the area, we need that information, because clearly we're not reaching people if we're not even filling 15 beds. So please reach out if you have that information. And I also wanted to respond to Jen, who was asking about our police policy on tear gas and pepper spray. At the last police commission meets the second Thursday of every month. At our last meeting, we did discuss the pepper balls. And at our next meeting, I believe we're discussing tear gas, handcuffing, and other restraints. So if those are things that are interesting to you, please attend. We even have time for public comment if there's something you'd like to share with the police commission. And like I said, again, that's the second Thursday of every month.
Greg.
Thanks, Mayor. I want to thank Lynn Woodridge again for coming out and talking about the really great effort that she put together of having these virtual workshops around race and equity. It was really a great experience. We had a lot of great comments and questions back and forth. It was really good. And I'd like to challenge the other neighborhood associations to step up and do the same thing, because we don't just have these issues in Bethel, we have them all over the city. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Councilor Taylor.
Councilor Taylor, we can't hear you. No, we still can't hear you.
Is your mic plugged in?
You could type a question into the chat, Betty, if you can't get your.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Betty, we're just not hearing you. You can, if you want to type in, I don't know if it's possible for someone to give Betty a call and just see if we can get her on the phone. And
Yeah, call in on your phone.
Betty. So Betty, I'm going to let you mute yourself there and then call in on the phone. And while you're doing that, I'm going to let the city manager speak to some of the comments that we've heard while we wait for Betty to get on.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't know if everybody's still on the line. So just so you know, I often turn my video off because you're addressing the city council, but I'm always here and listening. And want you to know that I hear the concern, the urgency, and the frustration. And I know that the council feels, has some of those same emotions as do I. So I agree with a lot of what I heard. And I also want to be able to just share a little bit of information, but I want to do it knowing that it's probably not going to be enough. And I don't want it to feel like I'm being defensive. I just want to share a little bit. So in terms of, a couple of people said we shouldn't have been surprised. And I agree that we're shouldn't be surprised by a wildfire, but I will say that this event, based on kind of what the information from the state fire marshal and from our chief, is that the direction of the winds, the temperatures, and the actual lowest level, I think, ever moisture level in the landscape materials created what everyone was calling the possibility for a sort of sentinel historic event. And I think what was surprising was that that windstorm caused so many fires in the western slopes of Oregon, all of us at once. So if you were listening earlier, you'll know that even within the state of Oregon, normally our fire would be drawing resources from around the country. It could be the top concern in the country. And right now we're number 4 in the state. So it is very low resourced, and we have sent a lot of resources to the county and to the fire itself. So we have a lot of people working on this to make the situation better. And so a couple of things that I wanted to let you know is that we do have some plans in place for things like this. So one of the things we have always had in place is some agreements with 4J about how we can use facilities that are vacant. We immediately last week finalized a contract with them right off the bat that would allow all of, I think it's like 5 of their gyms to be utilized for evacuees. So we put into place some things that allows the Red Cross to use that for emergency respite shelter for people. So those things are in place. They haven't used them yet, but they are available. 4J's been a great partner. We're currently working with them right now on the possibility of doing some additional sheltering that's just the city and 4J together, working with our nonprofit partners. So we're working on that. I can't make any guarantees. We did open our 2 community centers pretty immediately for day air quality shelter. That's what we felt like we could do. We don't normally do these services, and there's not space there to do it overnight. I've heard a lot of people, and I've asked the same question about, hey, did they lift the COVID requirements? And the reality is COVID is still here. The most amount of outbreak we've had in the last few weeks has been at a care facility where people passed one amongst each other. And I think that's actually a huge concern. It's not something we want to ignore because somebody isn't requiring it, which I haven't actually confirmed if that's accurate or not. But even so, we don't want to spread COVID into this very vulnerable community. So we are looking for space. We've been actively looking for space so that we could partner with social service agencies to open it up. It was just last night that Lane County approved us to use a small area of the Lane County Event Center. So far, that's what we've been allowed to use. If they open up more space, we'll work on getting that filled up immediately. So we're doing, I know it's not enough, and I know it's not fast enough. And I also want to express, I know there's a lot of residents with homes that also have really poor air quality in their homes that don't have the same sort of air filtration. We've had to close every single day since the fire started We've closed all of our recreation programs. We've had to shut down the library, the branch libraries, almost all of our recreation centers, because the inside air quality, except for Hilliard and Peterson Barn, has not been at a healthy level. So I agree we need to be set up to do more faster, because we do know this is going to be an ongoing problem. But I just wanted to let you know, I do feel like we've been trying to act fast. It's just not enough.
Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. So do we have Councilor Taylor? Have we connected with her question or comment? Still can't seem to hear you, Betty. Okay, it's just not working. Okay, I'm sorry, Councilor Taylor. I know that's very frustrating not to be able to break through. And yeah. Oh. It looks like we're trying to make a phone connection here.
I thought it was going to be with me, but it must be someone else.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks, Betty. Betty wanted to know from the city attorney if she had any comment on the question still being asked about 5G with regard to our authority and the things that were said.
I don't have a response to provide you this evening, but if it's something that you want us to research and get back to you, we certainly can do that.
Okay, that looks like a nod to me.
Yeah, we can definitely present. We can at least send a memo with an update, because I don't think a lot has changed since our work session last fall, but we can update.
Okay. All right, that is great. And I think with that, I think have done all of the business for the evening, and we will see you. Nope, do we have something else? Am I missing something? Oh, calendar.
Yeah, we do. We have one more.
Consent calendar too.
Gosh, I'm like not with the consent calendar tonight. Sorry. All right. Can we have a motion on the table for consent item 2?
I move to approve the item on consent calendar 2.
Second.
All in favor, please raise your real or virtual hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that passes. Thank you very much. And now we really are done, correct? There's no like consent 3 that I'm ignoring. Okay, excellent. Thank you all very much for informative evening. Good to see you. And we'll see you on Wednesday at noon. Thanks so much. Bye-bye. We are adjourned.